The other thing is, I'm not sleeping on Liverpool much. Liverpool have had as difficult 7 games as us. If you look on it, Crystal Palace away, Arsenal at home. You know what I mean? Like they've gone away.
Newcastle away,
Chelsea away. They have had as tough a start as us, and maybe even tougher. You know what I mean? Because the one game where we've had at home, we drew it against the big one. They won it against us. So they've had a tough start as well.
And they've got players who've still got a gel.
And so when people go at me like, Liverpool this, Liverpool that, I believe that Liverpool haven't played as well as what they should have done, but they've had a tough start, you know what I mean? But whatever way you look at it, shouldn't have beaten Newcastle away, but they did. They shouldn't have beaten
Is that the worry though, where a lot of people are looking at it like and pinpointing, or worry for their fans, but is that why people are pinpointing? Because when you look at Arsenal, there's not really, apart from the Liverpool game, there's not really been another team that's looked like they were going to really turn them over, was there? Right? City went 1-0 up, but you kind of felt that Arsenal would get back into it. And people were moaning that why didn't you go for it a bit more? You probably would have won that game. Was with a lot of the Liverpool performances, even the games they've won, even their fans have sort of been saying, we got away with that, we got away with that, we got away with that.
They're vulnerable at the back, Rob.
And then you start to think to yourself, right, whereas we're sort of like, it's, impose yourself more, you can win more games. They're kind of looking at it and thinking, it's a little bit worrying, man, because we've won games, but did we really deserve it? We got lucky here, we got lucky there, we got, the Newcastle game. I mean, remember, Newcastle were down to 10 men and were outplaying Liverpool. That's something you don't normally see. All right, they pulled it around in the end with their firepower that they were able to bring on. But it is getting a little nervy for them at the moment.
And the reason it's getting a little nervy for them is because they're not structurally very good at the back at this moment in time. Their fullbacks have changed. Robinson's been a wonderful player over the years for them. And I know it's sounding silly and all that. They're hard to replace. Someone of his ability.
Yeah, I think Trent as well.
You go on to Trent.
They've lost a lot of their creativity.
Lost the creativity. Hard to replace. Bradley, who I thought was a fantastic prospect, is not quite it. I think because of injuries have caught up on him a little bit like that.
Yeah.
So they've got a little bit of a problem on the back. Their central defenders, them two are having to play week in, week out. There's no break for them. They're not being able to rotate them because you've got to play Champions League. They can't afford to. So all of a sudden, that's where the problem is for them, And at what I think, even if you go back to Arsenal against Liverpool, a little bit of a criticism that Arteta was they were vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we never went for it again. But that's one of those things. Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. When people are describing Arsenal at the moment, they're saying handbrake on, go for it more because you'll beat these teams, go for it. Whereas with Liverpool, as I said,
because they haven't got that solid base.
Yeah. Although, like you said, Lee, don't write them off at their peril.
No.
What if Salah does start clicking?
What happens if they
What if Isak starts cooking?
And also, it's like they've just lost 3 games on a bounce. Imagine if we had just lost 3 games on a bounce, the fan base and how they would be looking at that. Arsenal, look, we've lost 1 game this season, and like we said, to a world-class free kick to them. But we don't at the moment look like losing games. Certainly not 3 in a row. And I watched Liverpool in the Champions League and they just looked completely out of sorts. They didn't look, even we watched the game.
Look at that, the Champions League, anything can happen in that.
Yeah,
I don't look at, it's 2 league games I look at. If you can look at, would you, if Arsenal lost in the Champions League, would you bring
I think though, Lee, is like, even the game they won in the Champions League again, they weren't that great, were they? Like, so if you're not playing great, and then you lose 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Some alarm, not major, but some alarm bells start ringing. You start to say, we're not playing well. We've lost 3 in a row. It's they'll be sitting. Players will be sitting down there.
The way they were the sign of champions, winning games and just getting the grinding out result. But even the games that they were winning them in the last minute, and they weren't playing great football at all. Okay, like you said, Newcastle were all over them, and but they found a way to win in the end. Now, if you're winning games like that just nicking them, and then you go on to lose 3 games in a row, and you look at a bit out of sorts, and you've got players that aren't firing, you've got big marquee signings, huge marquee on massive, and they're not firing. Questions are going to be asked.
Do you know what? One of my mates, I'm not gonna name him because I don't want him to boost him up. Turned round to me and said, "You know what I mean? Like that sign of Isaac is not going to be a great signing for Liverpool. Like it's going to cause problems." He says it's going to cause problems for the other Ekitike up front. They've not got the balance quite right because one of them's going to have to be left out every single time because one can play on the left. If you're leaving him out, you drop the what's his name on the Gakpo on the left. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. They haven't. If you look at it, they got rid of Diaz. Unfortunately, Jota passed away, which is horrendous for them. But they haven't replaced that left side as much. They've gone down the middle, but did they really need to do that? So he turned around and said that might be a problem for him. You know what I mean? Balance. I think it's already been a little bit of a problem. Ekitike shucking off his shirt. You know what I mean? Like, is that a little bit of petulance because he's not going to be playing the following week and whatever, or left out of that game? I don't know. These are all little things that can happen. You know what I mean? Like, just upset the balance of everything. Where everything was straightforward last season. Salah was their main man. Is he the main man now? Is Isaac the main man now? If I'm Slot, I've got to make that work with Isaac, and that may be taking a little bit away from Salah. I don't know, you know what I mean, where it's all been built around Salah. All those little things can make things, and maybe that is the case. Where Arsenal, you know what?
It does what it says on the tin.
You see, it's funny because with Liverpool last season, because they didn't bring in
low pressure,
no players. They had a perfectly balanced team that they've had for quite a while, and they
little tweaks from him.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He tweaked it with Gravenberch, and got the best out of him, and then they just won the league, like you said, at Atlanta. This season is more transitional, like you said, than last season for him because he's got 2 new fullbacks. I think they've lost the creativity of Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? Because even though he was a right back, he'd drop into midfield and he'd be spraying passes out to Salah. He was a wonderful player like that, right? Maybe he's defensively weren't always the strongest, but he was so good offensively. They're playing Gravenberch in a slightly different position. Is that kind of working as well? So we have to wait and see. Still very early.